What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely day today and I hope it gets even better from watching this video. Today I'm going to share with you all the things I have quit to simplify my life, to part ways with all the stress and feeling overwhelmed and cluttered and just a mess. For the last, honestly, a decade at this point, I've been on this whole journey of creating a life that I genuinely love, that I enjoy waking up to, that I find meaningful. And throughout all these years of being on this whole journey, I've realized that a lot of creating that is letting go of things that no longer serve you. And with that, you create so much room in your life for the things that you actually find meaningful. So yeah, I thought this would be really fun, but also helpful, hopefully, to share. And you know, life is already stressful enough. Like, we can kind of let go of all the stresses that really aren't necessary. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Nika, welcome. I make videos all about self-improvement and I like to make them very actionable. Here are the tips, the tricks, the exercises, everything you need to actually make a legit difference in your life that you're really gonna notice. So if that works for you, I'd love for you to stick around and subscribe, and also check out my social media if you wanna see more of my personal life and hang out more. But without further ado, let's get into all the things I've quit. The first thing on my list is quitting TikTok. I did a whole digital declutter at the beginning of the year. I made a whole video about it, so I'll link it down below. But through doing that detox, I really realized how much TikTok was negatively impacting me in so many ways. Whenever I would go on it, it's like a black hole. You scroll for hours and hours. It's such an easy distraction. But first of all, I didn't want to be distracted all the time. I actually wanted to use my free time in a way that was fulfilling. And also, every time I spent time on it, I would just feel bad afterwards. It just was so overwhelming for my brain. I don't think it's natural for us to handle so much information, so many opinions, so many products you need. Was way too much. So I felt so much better ever since I've quitted. I also feel like my focus is so much better. I feel more calm. Life feels simpler, honestly. This one might be controversial because I feel like our society kind of promotes this so much, but I quit oversharing. I used to do this like it was a sport, okay? And I was a champion. I did it online. I would do it with anyone that I would meet. And I genuinely feel like I was doing it for just connections. When I would meet someone, I just felt like that was like a sure way to connect with them and to not feel like awkward and like we're, disconnected. That was very uncomfortable for me. So I would just overshare to fix that problem. But then afterwards, I would either feel drained or I would just feel overexposed. Now I obviously share things with people as I get to know them and build trust with them. I've realized that I was just doing a pretty poor job of protecting myself and protecting my privacy. And that is something I really value now and really take into account. And of course, it really helps to have amazing people in my life that I can share all these things with. If not that, then I have my journal and my therapist. And that makes me feel so much better than oversharing to random strangers that I might never see again. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of therapy. So many of the improvements that I've made for my life and things that I've let go of have been because of therapy. It has changed my life in so many ways I can't even express, and I'm so grateful for it. An amazing resource if you want to try out therapy is BetterHelp, and they're actually sponsoring this video. Starting therapy can obviously be a little bit scary and overwhelming, so BetterHelp makes the whole experience a lot easier and a lot more comfortable. It's online therapy, so it's totally up to you if you do it through a phone call, a video chat, or even through messages. And you can schedule sessions at a time that's convenient for you and from the comfort of your own home. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who's trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. You can click the link in the description box or visit betterhelp.com/Nika if you want to try it out. But it's really easy to get started. You basically fill out a questionnaire to assess your specific needs, and then you'll get matched with your therapist in most cases within 48 hours or less. I know from personal experience how difficult it can be to get that first appointment or even find a therapist that works for you. So BetterHelp has over 30,000 therapists in their network, so it's so much easier to find someone with the expertise that you might need. Plus, if the therapist you're first matched with doesn't really feel like the right fit, which can honestly be pretty common when you're first starting therapy, you can easily switch at no additional cost. Over 4 million people have used BetterHelp to start living healthier, happier lives. You guys know I've been in therapy for 10 years now, and I've done online therapy exclusively for I think 4 years, maybe honestly even longer, and it has changed my life in so many ways. You can click the link in the description box or visit betterhelp.com/Nika, and that will give you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. Next one is impulsive shopping and unplanned buying. I used to be so bad at this. Honestly, browsing through stores was a hobby for me, and it was something I overdid whenever I was feeling bored or my life felt a little stagnant. It was a way for me to spice it up, but then I ended up with so much much stuff that cluttered my space, cluttered my mind, stuff that I didn't even end up using or liking anymore after a few weeks. Honestly, changing this obviously has improved my financial situation, which is amazing. My life feels more simple because it's not over cluttered with so much stuff, but also I feel like I'm living a more intentional life because I'm genuinely bringing things into my space, into my home that I genuinely love and find fulfilling and will enjoy for a long time. I made a whole video about how to stop compulsive shopping and overspending, so I'll link that down below if you struggle with this. Been there, obviously. Life is so much better when you get out of the rat race. I stopped letting random things and random people offend me. I really realized throughout the years that getting offended is actually a choice. And if you told me this in my victim narrative days, I would have been so offended. I would have been like, it's not a choice. It is. Okay, it is a choice. Of course, you should have your own boundaries and limits, but I was just letting everything get to me and everything affect me. It's like, it's not that deep. Why are you just willy-nilly giving people so much of your energy and that kind of access to you? This one is a new one, but it's honestly life-changing if you're a woman. Resisting my period. I let that go, okay? Because I realized at some point I was so negative towards it. I hated it. I hated it, okay? It was so painful. I felt like I was crazy before when I was PMSing. I was like, I'm just waiting to be institutionalized, like, and I was speaking about it in that way and thinking about it in that way. And I just woke up one day and I was like, you know what? If I keep doing this, I'm just making it harder for myself to deal with. And I'm gonna have to deal with this for at least 20 more years. So wouldn't it be a bit easier to just see it in a more positive way? So I've reframed it in my mind. Instead of saying I'm crazy, I'm, unstable, I'm whatever, I'm just like, I'm a bit more sensitive right now, and that's okay. This is a time for me to listen to myself, to listen to my intuition, to slow things down and really pay attention to my body and respect it. I was disrespecting it hardcore before. And it's honestly made my whole menstrual cycle so much easier to deal with. I quit using my phone first thing in the morning. I was honestly doing it because the light of my phone woke me up and I find it really hard to wake up in the morning. And now I get up, I open the windows and I go make myself a tea. And that's a much more relaxing way for me to wake up. And I've realized that I'm so much more focused throughout the day and I feel so much more at peace and like I'm in my own energy, I'm not like getting bombarded with so many things. I'm much more efficient, like I just feel way better. Leaving I have to and I should behind. I really try to avoid using these words when I speak and instead say I get to. It feels so much more intentional and it kind of is like a big reminder that I have a choice. Even with things that I don't enjoy doing, when I reframe it from I have to or I should into I get to, it helps me to see that action in a different way. Like I am still choosing to do it. No one is forcing me to do it. I have free will. I have the option to choose. Next one is following or even being aware of trends. This honestly came with getting off TikTok. Like I don't know what's going on. I don't know the new trend, whether it's a tread wife, whether it's soft girl era, what, I just don't care. I just feel like it was occupying so much space in my mind for absolutely no reason. It wasn't giving me anything good. I was also buying so many more things because of all the recommendations and all the trends. Like honestly, being without that, it was completely unintentional. It just came with getting off TikTok, but it has made my life so much more enjoyable and so much more peaceful and lovely. Lovely is a great word for it. Taking my phone everywhere or taking it out of my bag when I'm with a friend or with someone. I would, for example, go for an evening stroll with my boyfriend and I would bring my phone for absolutely no reason in case something happened, in case I need to take a picture of something. I'll survive without that picture. And I had a habit of when I would meet up with someone, I would take my phone out of my bag and put it on the table if we were at a cafe or something. And it's just like unnecessary, like things can wait. I don't like being on my phone when I'm with people, so why do I need to have it on the table? It's just unnecessary. I quit ordering alcohol every time I go out to eat or go for a drink. I honestly got into a habit of like just ordering a glass of wine or a Bellini or a Prosecco or whatever. And it was so unnecessary. Like I wasn't doing it to get drunk because I wouldn't get drunk from one glass of wine. It was just like something nice to sip on. And it's just not healthy for you. It's also really expensive. I come from a Slavic culture where alcohol is so ingrained in our daily lives. Like your grandma makes desserts, your grandpa makes alcohol. That's just how it flows. So this is kind of normal, but I just was noticing that I wasn't feeling as good. My solution was to just order a sparkling water with some lemon, and that fixed everything. I had a little nice drink to sip on, and that's all I needed. This is another overthinking one, but I started asking myself, how can this be easy? Whenever I was overcomplicating something or something felt really overwhelming or stressful, I got into the habit of just asking myself, how can this be easy? And just letting my brain come up with something, and it usually does. Another thing I let go of is reacting to things before taking a moment or sleeping on it. I don't really have a lot of things in my life that I regret, but one thing I would consistently regret every single time is reacting out of anger or saying something out of being annoyed at someone. Like, I just always regretted it, and it's just so unnecessary. So now I take a moment, I take a breather. If it's really intense, I sleep on it. I talk to someone else about it to let the frustration out, and then I communicate it like a sensible adult. And it simplified my life so much. I quit comparing men and women all the time and instead actually appreciate our differences. Back in the day when I was a receptive little teenager, young adult, I just fell into the trap of social media and this whole trend of hating men and all the ways men are awful and how we don't need them. I honestly think it took meeting my boyfriend for me to stop doing this, because I was able to see so many ways that he was amazing and so many traits that I didn't have that I really appreciate, and all the things he added to my life and still does. And I just stopped doing it. Like, it's such a waste of energy. Not every man is awful. Like, a lot of them are actually really lovely and great and add a lot to your life. Honestly, my view of the world, but also all of my relationships with the men in my life have improved so much because of it. I also feel so much more feminine. If I want to vent about something and go on and on and on for hours, I'm gonna go to a girly, okay? I know that she's amazing at it, as am I. Like, we got that down. I'm not gonna go to my boyfriend for that, because he's very practical. He'll come up with a solution, which is amazing and I appreciate at other times. But when I want to vent, I'm gonna call my girly. And that has been so helpful, not trying to change them, but appreciating how they are and how they're different and how that's beneficial and amazing. This one is kind of similar, but I no longer have expectations of people that they don't know about. Okay, this is especially very clear in my relationship, and I feel like we've avoided so many arguments because I don't do this anymore. It's just when I need something or want something, I just tell him, I just ask him, and then it's up to him if he wants to do it. He has free will, he can choose for himself. But it's so unfair to him to expect something and then get annoyed and frustrated and start an argument. And he didn't even know what happened. Like, he wasn't in the know. Like, how messed up is that? I've avoided so much frustration and annoyance because of this. And last but not least, I quit trying to fix everything about myself. This honestly started from a good place. I was in a really dark place 10 years ago, and I was trying to improve my life and feel happy and feel good. So it started because I was seeing benefits from what I was doing, but then I just took it to an extreme, and I would try to change and fix so many things that weren't even broken in the first place, and it was so overwhelming, and it ended up being so like self-critical. The message was like, you need to fix all these things because you're actually not good enough, and I can't really love you until you fix all these things. Like, it was so perfectionistic, is that a word? Stressed me out so much, and it wasn't like helpful. It wasn't good for me. I've just started to let myself enjoy all the changes that I've made. And if something comes up that I realize is not good for me or is, keeping me stuck or whatever, of course I'm going to address it. I'm going to work on it, but it's not coming from this obsessive place of I need to fix 10 billion things. I need to have a 10-step morning routine, and I need to do this healing thing and that changing your mindset thing. And like, it was just so intense and overwhelming, and it was doing the opposite of what I wanted and needed. Alrighty guys, that is it. That is my list of things that I let go of to simplify my life. I would love to hear your at least like one thing that you've quit that has made your life so much better. I'd love to read it. But if you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe and check out my social media if you want to hang out more. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you very, very soon.